A few months ago, Simon Sinek did a video where he said the title of CEO needs to go and instead should be replaced by the title of Chief Vision Officer. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I disagree with that. Simon's argument was that for every other role inside of the organization, whether it be the CTO, CHRO, or the CMO, their title basically explains what they do. For example, CMO is Chief Marketing Officer, so we know that they are in marketing. CHRO is Chief Human Resource Officer, so we know they are in human resources. And again, his argument was that for every other senior level role inside of an organization, their title explains what that person does. But when it comes to CEO, Chief Executive Officer, most people have no clue what that person does and what that role even means. Let's take a quick listen to what Simon had to say.
So I don't like the term CEO. In every other C-level executive title, their job is in their title. CFO, CMO, COO, CTO. Like, we know exactly what you do. If you don't know how to work a DVD player, we don't make you the CTO. If you can't read a balance sheet, we don't make you the CFO. I know that. I don't even have to look at your CV. It's in the damn title. What's a CEO? What exactly is the responsibility of an executive officer? It's a very ill-defined title. And so we put a lot of people who are not qualified for that job in that position. I think we need to change the title to CVO, Chief Vision Officer, someone who's in charge of setting and ensuring that the company stays on the path of the vision.
To be honest, I think most people are more confused by the title of CHRO than they are by the title of CEO. In fact, if you were to ask most people, what does a CEO do? They will tell you that a CEO is responsible for the vision of the organization. The CEO is responsible for putting people first, for creating a better world, for making sure that people can be more successful at the organization. These are a lot of the responses that you're gonna get. In fact, very rarely, if ever, have I ever heard anybody say that they have no idea what a CEO does. But on the flip side, when I ask people, what does the CHRO do? That's when I get a lot of blank stares. That's when I get a lot of people that say, yeah, I don't know. I know our company has one, but I'm not really sure what a CHRO does. I don't think the issue is so much that we don't know what a CEO does. The issue is more that we don't keep the CEO accountable for doing what we know they should be doing. Again, we know what the role of a CEO is: to set the vision, to guide the organization, to put people first, to create a better world, to create a better organization. We know that that's what a CEO does. But do we actually keep CEOs around the world responsible and accountable for doing that? That is where I think the bigger problem is. Think of how many CEOs around the world have gotten a golden parachute from driving their organization into the ground. How many of these CEOs have pay that is hundreds times greater than that of the average employee? How many CEOs out there have done things that are not ethical? How many CEOs out there have contributed towards hurting the environment, destroying communities, or putting people down instead of putting people first? Lots of CEOs out there have done this. Doesn't mean there aren't great CEOs out there. There are, but even the CEOs out there who are not great still are not held accountable. They are not held responsible for doing what they should actually be doing. And that, again, is where I think the bigger problem is, not so much with their title. I don't think if you call a CEO a Chief Vision Officer that that's somehow going to make them more accountable. They could be a Chief Vision Officer and still not be as effective, as productive. They could still not put people first. They could still not set a vision. Again, just because you change that title isn't going to make much of a difference. But holding people accountable and responsible is, regardless of what you want to call them. The problem is that we have the wrong leadership filters in place. We promote people who make the most amount of money. We promote people who are the best at navigating office politics and bureaucracy. We promote people who are the most connected. We promote people who have been at the company for a long time. Those are the types of people we promote. Instead, we should be promoting people who are good at motivating and engaging and inspiring others, people who are good at setting the vision, people who are good at unlocking the potential of others, people who are good at seeing that the world, that the organization can become better and have an idea of how to make these things better, people who are able to rally employees to move in the direction of that better vision. Those are the types of people that we need to be promoting. We need people who are willing to take a stance, to fight for a cause, to fight for social injustices and inequality. We need more of those types of people, and then we will see that those leaders, we will be able to keep more accountable. In fact, those leaders will keep themselves accountable for creating that vision, for creating a better organization, for creating a better world. If we want to create better leaders, and if we want to create better organizations around the world, it starts with us. It starts with how we think about and how we define leadership. So we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a leader? What does leadership actually mean? And then we need to set those leadership filters in place inside of our organizations around the world. We don't need to change titles, and we don't need chief vision officers. Instead, we need leaders out there who are willing to be what we want and need them to be. And we need to make sure that we hold those leaders accountable. Thanks for tuning into this show. I really do hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to head over to defineleadership.com to grab a copy of my brand new PDF that's going to walk you through a framework on how to create your own personal definition of leadership and why that matters now more than ever. You will also see the definitions of leadership from some of the CEOs I interviewed, including from the CEOs of organizations like KPMG, Oracle, and Verizon. Again, you can get that PDF at defineleadership.com. And of course, I would love it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos just like this and for interviews with some of the world's top business leaders. Thank you for watching.